So this is the City's Events and Recognitions Committee monthly meeting for Wednesday, July 21st, 2021 at 4 p.m. And co-chair Jessica Johnston will be running the meeting. Take it away, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Kella. I would like to acknowledge that we rest on the traditional homelands of the Puyallup people, where they make their homes and speak the Lushootseed language. And I would like to start this meeting with a motion to, or I guess a motion to start, or we already did that. Sorry, yep. This is like my third time doing this, new people. So we need a motion to approve the agenda and approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Was that Adela?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. And then I'm sorry, I did that a little backwards. A motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I second it.
Thank you. And now we would like to welcome our new members. Kella, am I allowed to, is this where they can speak about themselves and tell us a little bit about their background?
Can I just interrupt 1 second and take you back one step and ask you to ask for a vote on those two motions?
Oh, may I have a vote on the two motions? And that would mean everyone would need to say yes. Is that correct?
They have to speak.
Aye.
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 Thank you. And yes, you may move on.
Mayor Woodard is waiting in the chat.
Oh. Okay, let me just stop sharing.
She joined as an attendee. I already made her a panelist. We're good.
Oh, you got her? Okay, thank you. I guess I am not supposed to have to worry about that. All right, share screen. Mayor.
Hello, Mayor.
Hello, everybody.
I'm gonna, as soon as, do you want to, I'm gonna put it back to the full gallery, Jessica, so that everybody can see everybody.
Okay.
But you're ready to, okay, so stop sharing again. I mean, sorry, I'm hopping back and forth here. There you go.
Perfect. All right. So the first person that we have, one of our newest members, is Cecily, and Cecily is at-large number 2. Cecily, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and also what made you want to join CERC?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cecily Krosky. So currently I am working with Peace Community Center. I am the program manager for the Hilltop Scholars Program for their high school, college, and career levels. So I get to work with all the high school students and students in their post-secondary pathways. And then I also am the founder of Girls Hearts on Fire. It is a nonprofit org here in the city of Tacoma that aims to empower young women from 5th grade all the way up through 12th grade. And we've recently launched a internship program. So I am heavily rooted here in the city of Tacoma, born and raised, graduated from Stadium High School, went to Mason in Lowell. So I love my town. I'm very thrilled to be able to dive a little bit deeper and to support in a way that I've begun to build experience in when it comes to events, and really wanted to just learn some more, be able to network with other people who love our city and want to recognize some of the wonderful people that are doing so much in our city. So that's really why I wanted to join on, and I'm really excited to dig in and do and just get to work with you all. So should I pass the mic to someone else who is brand new? Are you going to raise your hand if you are?
So actually, the next person, thank you so much, Cecily.
You're welcome.
We are very excited to have you.
I have a quick question for her.
Yes.
Do you know Jackie Krosky? Are you?
Yes, I'm married into the Kroskys. That is my aunt, my husband's aunt. Yes, it is.
Great.
Nice to meet you.
Perfect. All right. Next, Hillary, welcome.
Hi, I am Hillary Gray. I am an educator. I work with high school students, and then I also work with early career educators. So specifically in the first 5 years of becoming a teacher, how do you manage all of that? And I have put on many events in working with that, and then also just making sure that that connects to the students that you work with. My husband and I moved to Hilltop just before the pandemic started. And so just really experiencing Hilltop as a new member right through all of that was a unique and incredible way to come into the city. And so I just wanted to join this committee to be a part of just recognizing all the incredible work that I saw in that and helping continue the growth of events that I saw within that space as well. So that's why I'm here, and I'm excited to get to know everybody and work on that as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, and welcome to Hilltop. And then Kala, I don't think Alex is on yet. Oh, and you're muted.
No, but when he gets here, we'll just interrupt. And then we have a special guest, Mayor Victoria Woodards, and we have a new staff person. So before we get to the MLK planning, Tammy, you want to introduce Gerald, and Gerald, say a few words about your role?
Sure. It is my great pleasure to introduce Gerald Ananuevo. Sorry if I messed that up, Gerald. He started with us on Monday. He's our new marketing coordinator, and he's going to be taking over all of our digital marketing. And so he'll be managing our websites and our social media channels, our email newsletters, and working with me on advertising, promotions, PR, all things marketing. So we're thrilled to have him. He came to us most recently through UW, and prior to that he was with the Tacoma Chamber. So some of you may already know Gerald. So Gerald, I don't know if you don't want to put you on the spot. I told him about this meeting, 5 minutes before, so I'm exaggerating a little bit, but anyway, he's just been with us a couple of days. But if you want to say hello, and then hear maybe more from him next meeting.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here. Excited to learn and excited to meet you guys in person soon. So, well, thank you.
Thank you. Glad you're here. So the next item, Jessica, will be to welcome the mayor.
Yes.
And her 15 minutes of fame with the CERC committee, and talk about her thoughts and insights about the 2022 MLK event, which at the moment we are still planning on having it live once again at the convention center, though we will be down in the ballrooms, but on the 3rd floor. Oh, I'm hearing an echo. I'm echoing.
Well, welcome, Madam Mayor. Thank you so much for joining us. And we can't wait to hear what you have to say about the 2022 MLK Awards.
Sounds like she's having technical issues.
I am. I was trying to log on from my phone because I do actually have to walk out the door right at 4:30. So I was trying to log on while you all were talking, get down to my car, and then pick up the call in my car so that I could, if something happened, I could be in my car headed towards where I need to be headed.
I always have that problem, like when I start, my internet starts to go wonky, and then I turn on my phone, and now I've got 2 voices. So I have to remember.
Let me try one more time to join from my phone. Jennifer, will you? I'm going to log off here and log on. Oh, Jennifer, will you upgrade me when I come in on the other side again? Okay,
Yes,
give me just 1 second, you all. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Jennifer and I met, was it just last week, I think. Oh, there's Alex, good timing. And so we do have sort of a short list, which we'll share with you. And we'll wait until after we talk with the mayor about things, because she's got a very limited schedule. Jessica, you want to introduce Alex?
Excellent. I wasn't sure if we had time or not. Hi, Alex. Welcome.
Thank you so much for bearing with me. I'm so sorry I'm running a little bit late.
No problem. Would you like to tell us a little about yourself and where you came from and what brought you to join CERC?
Yeah, well, I currently work at JRay, which is a strategic communication and advertising firm in Tacoma. a lot of my background is in nonprofits and education in the area, particularly in the communication and fundraising space. So, in those roles, when you're talking to people about why they should give money to an organization, it necessitates you having a deep love for the area. So that's one reason why I was sought to be engaged in some way within Tacoma. I'm born and raised here. And so I felt like it came a point in time where I was ready to engage in a deeper way beyond the roles that I have in professionally. So in a nutshell, it's because I love the area, and I love the area because of what I do. And so I'm happy to be here.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We're happy to have you. All of you are fantastic new additions. Madam Mayor, are you ready?
I think, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Yes. Can you hear us?
Okay, wait, I think it's 30 seconds. I'm sorry, give me 30. Yeah, hold on. Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry.
So you can hear us too. That makes sense.
I can hear
right?
you too. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
good.
yes. I was in the elevator and I was hoping to get down to the first floor, but that didn't quite happen. So I'm just gonna hop in my car. And again, sorry to be doing this on the move. This is what happens when you have too much on your calendar. And you're trying to do it all. But first, I can start by saying thank you to you all and welcome to, I'm glad to be here on the night that we are welcoming so many new members. I know I read your name off in the city council meeting, but this is exciting to see this committee growing with new people who love Tacoma, and those who are on here, but with new people who love Tacoma as much as I do. So that's really inspiring. So thank you to the new members, and then just thank you to the committee for all of your hard work thus far. It is always my honor to come back once a year, and I'll come back anytime, you all, but it always is fun to come talk with you all about the MLK program and what this coming year will look like. And so about, what does a post-COVID MLK program look like? And I'd love to hear some of your thoughts as well. But I think given the passing of Resolution 40622 by the council that focused on Tacoma becoming an anti-racist city, I think focusing on starting with that resolution and how we're implementing it and what it means to Tacoma, I think would be a really good way to center the program for 2022. Because that's what Dr. King fought for, right? He fought for the opportunities of all, especially our BIPOC community members who are marginalized more than others. And I just think, and while I want, and the reason I'm thinking as I'm talking, while I don't want to, I always think that MLK programs should always be very celebratory and fun, but it should also be educational. And it should also cause people to walk away saying to themselves and thinking, what can I contribute to that vision? How can I be better? Because if Tacoma is really going to become anti-racist, it's not something the city can mandate. It's getting at the hearts and minds of others. So I think if there is a way to look at this kind of as educational and thought-provoking and even being very clear about offering opportunities where people can engage in the conversation, I think could be really powerful and really important given the last year and a half that we've been through. And in some regards, you all, there also needs to be kind of a healing element. We will have gone through, so the city right now is in partnership with the National Network for Safe Communities, and we're going to do this reconciliation work in Tacoma that is healing in nature. And I wonder if out of that, if there might not be, not necessarily a formal report, but some way to educate community about healing and either what we've done, or I would imagine at that point there'll still be things left to do. But I wanted to make sure that it's not just entertainment, but there's some call to action in it. So those are kind of just my initial thoughts. I'd love to hear from you all what you think and how you've been thinking about this.
Thank you, Mayor. It's Jessica speaking. I really like the idea of having healing and education as part of the process, because I do think we all need it. Just seeing people at this point come out of COVID, I mean, it's apparent people are having all sorts of feelings and emotions getting through this. Some people have not left home yet, and some people have had to battle through all of it this whole time. So I love the idea of creating that and just a space for people to come and be and speak and discuss. And it's been a crazy year where we've all been at home during such a wild ride of from COVID to everything that happened with the riots and the protests and BLM, and it's just an important time. And I think we have people's focus now, so I do hope that we can all plan something that's moving and will help the community heal and maybe get back to a place that's better than we started in the first place.
Absolutely. And I forgot to say there are two additional things that have to be a part of the program. Number one, we have to have a choir. That is not optional.
This is Jennifer, Mayor. I knew that was coming. What else isn't optional?
And a choir is not optional, and it's got to be a community choir. And this is what I'm going to say. This year's choir will definitely be named the Tracy Lynn Davis Memorial Choir, because Tracy Davis, who directed our choir at MLK for so many years, passed away recently. And I'm probably going to be, I get to do an award at the event. So Jennifer, be prepared. I'm probably gonna acknowledge Tracy. I want to do something for Tracy at the MLK program, but I want the choir to be named after her for that day.
Of course.
And then Jennifer, since you're here, the only other thing I would just add in real quickly, and then I promise I'll stop talking, you guys. I just get so excited about this. But the other thing I would add is that we, for a while, we got Jenna Hanchard, I think, for a couple of years to be our MC. There is a new, in a lot of cases, there are programs that different newscasters host every year. And in Jenna leaving, we now have Lionel Donovan from King 5, who's the South and bureau chief, or he does all the reporting. He's an African American gentleman, and I think it would be great to ask him to serve as our annual MC of our MLK program.
Perfect. I suppose, Jennifer, someone has his contact info.
I can find it for certain.
Jennifer, I can send it to you.
Great.
Or you can ask it from Nicole. We have his cell phone number and everything, but I think it would be great to invite him. I think it's great to have an MC who understands how the program goes, and if you can get somebody who can come year after year, I think Jennifer, I'm sure it makes it easier because they remember what happened last year.
Absolutely. I would urge you not to apologize for getting so excited. I think this committee is really lucky to have you give some guidance early on as to your expectations and wishes and desires and ideas. So I would just urge you, if you have any other thoughts, to let everybody know. Much of the committee is new, and just some of your thoughts around diversity and even entertainment. I know you said you don't want it to be just entertainment, also call to action and education.
Yeah.
But just some of your thoughts around those things too, because again, a lot of this committee hasn't been in this process before.
Thank you, and thank you for that. One of the things that I've pushed on the committee just a little bit is that, and it's true about Martin Luther King's legacy. He didn't just fight for Black folks. He didn't just fight for African Americans. He fought for everyone who was marginalized, and he happened to be African American. And so I've been very honest about the fact that our program should reflect the diversity that makes up our city. And so I really like to make sure that I really hope you guys will make sure that the tribe is included, that there are other cultures that are a part of the program. Now, Jennifer, for the first time in all of the years, even as a council member, when I was really engaged with this, I've said I never wanted to just, I think there have been a couple of years when it's been maybe all African Americans, and I never wanted to be that because, again, Martin Luther King fought for more than that. And the reality is that if we're going to make these changes that we want to see, if every African American stood up to make the changes, we wouldn't make a dent in what needs to be done. And so really having Martin Luther King's vision owned by this entire community is incredibly important to me. So as you all think about themes and I'll come back as many times to discuss this with you all because it means that much to me. But if you all want to look at themes, and I don't know, I'm not married to a keynote speaker, but if you want to have a keynote speaker, for years we've been trying to work with the University of Washington because they normally have an MLK breakfast and they normally bring in a national speaker. But it would be great if we could partner with them if they're bringing in a national speaker, that maybe they could speak at both events. But I haven't gone any further into my thought about the actual structure of the program. Just the look and feel of the program is what I have today. But if you all decide, we want to have a speaker, who should it be? I have access to a lot of other mayors and other people to look at speakers, but and we'll provide any support that my office can provide to you all for the program.
That's great. Thank you so much. I think that that's a really good start for us to begin working together to put something, a timeline, a draft of the event together with each other. I love including everyone. I think that that's very important and gets overlooked a lot. And I just feel like we all need to, be one human race together, and that is a great opportunity and day to do so.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
Any other questions for me or anything else? Anything else, Jennifer or Kayla that I did? Oh, Kayla's got a question. Yes, ma'am.
Of course, you know what I'm going to ask.
What?
Is there additional funding for a keynote speaker? Should we be faced with that expense? And I have done some research, so you don't have to answer right now, but I can send you a range of prices. And sometimes it just says you have to call to find out, but I like the educational aspect, the inspirational aspect, and the healing aspect because that helps to sort of narrow the field of potential keynote speakers, as my research has indicated at any rate. So
I was trying to think, what was the third word you said? Education, inspiration, and what was the third word you used?
the first word that you used was healing, and I called it out third.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
There's so many local, there's so many local people, and there's so many, and I know that they would do it without charging anything for it. But if there's a real need to have a draw and have a national voice at this thing, and maybe we even do it no, never mind. I'm not going to say that. They have to be present. They have to be physically present. So,
well, I was gonna say we could have some speeches over. I think we're gonna end up with some kind of hybrid. I really, where some things may show up on the screen, and I think that is the way of the new world, is all these hybrid options. So I don't want to put that out there, but some of our greetings may be video in nature, because one of the things we found over the past year is if you put people on a video and you give them a minute, they normally stick to the script.
That's actually true, oddly, and certainly we have the benefit of this event in person. Has always been televised live, and so you know, even if that becomes very, very necessary, TV Tacoma has us dialed in to be hybrid really easily, which is fantastic.
Cool. And I think you all, and I would leave, maybe we don't have a keynote speaker from somewhere else. Maybe we have mini sermonettes from people in our community who represent, or we've had skits before. Like I'm open to any and all of that. I just give my input, and you all can chew on it and think about it, and then call me back in and say, Mayor, this is what we thought of. And, you know, again, because this means so much to me, it's a priority for me. And especially this year, it means a lot to me, given the last year and a half that we've had. And I don't want to stifle your ability to be creative at all.
I think that leaves us with plenty of room to be creative and to, you know, make some a really magical moment for the community to share in.
Good, good, good.
Have you arrived at your destination? It looks like you have.
I stopped. Yeah, but you're fine. I'm here, so that's I'm in the parking lot, so that's good.
I just want to be conscientious of your time. That's all.
Yeah. I also don't want to take up your whole agenda with, you know, you all have more to do. And I will, while I'm here, let me just say to all of you how much I appreciate what you do. But I hope that going forward with all of you on board, I hope you all will dream about other ideas and events and ways that Tacoma can, because right now I think we have, you know, MLK and the City of Destiny Awards. I hope you all will be creative and think about other ways that we can promote and raise awareness around people who are doing work in our community and our employees, and just, you know, just other ways to tell the story of Tacoma.
Well, before we lose you, Jessica, do you have any other questions, or are there questions from the committee that may be related to MLK or might be related to other things? And of course, you're going to learn more about the process of producing MLK over the next handful of months, but this is your chance. She's right here.
Mayor Wooders, this is
no question is off limit.
Yeah.
This is Stephanie Caldwell. Just a comment. I appreciate all the categories that you have inspired us to kind of create around. And I love naming the choir after Tracy. A big loss to our community. That is awesome. And looking forward to maybe talking about I like the mini sermonettes that you mentioned, highlighting some, we have awesome community members that have great stories, right, to share.
Yeah.
Be very celebratory when we're talking about MLK and diversity for all of us, not just one group of community members. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I have a quick question, and I also want to piggyback off of Stephanie, and I think that a tribute to Tracy will be absolutely beautiful, and I think felt across the community. She made a major impact and brought so many smiles and laughs to the city of Tacoma and beyond. And so I think that that's absolutely beautiful. Excited to see, you know, for us to be able to put that together. I think I do have one question about the educational aspect of it. And I just kind of wonder, since we've been living in the land of Zoom over the last year and a half or so, what does it look like to, after attending some racial equity trainings, seminars, things like that, like how can we incorporate something like that where maybe there are spaces for people wherever they identify to kind of join in and to be able to have that safe space to express themselves, to be able to learn how we can kind of, you know, move together. What does that look like in a larger venue? Or is that a piece of possibly the hybrid model where we might have something where everyone comes together, but maybe there are kind of like breakout sessions that would be more, you know, open to the city but based on Zoom to be able to hold them. So I just wanted to throw that out there and see if you had any particular ideas about that piece, or if that's kind of in line with it.
You just got me all excited. A couple years ago, we tried to, not a couple years, it's probably when I was a council member, we tried to have like after, like 1 year, I think we tried to have a march. We tried to have like after the event conversations. And I think either after or before the event, like people really want to come in and dig in. Maybe we could ask some of our local DEI people to host conversations where people could show up an hour early and have hosted conversations on, maybe it's topical by area, maybe it's I mean, I don't know, but I mean, maybe even in the same room in different pods, or maybe that's not good because we're setting up. But I mean, you can absolutely plan that, and we can look for partners like the Urban League and the Asia Pacific Cultural Center to help host conversations that day. We could check with like, the exhibit will be gone from the Tacoma Art Museum by then, but we could check to see what other groups are doing. Like, I think there's a way that we could partner and maybe ask somebody else to host the community conversations and we help advertise them. But Cecilia, I think that's a great question. And I would ask you all to dream and think about ways that you think you could make something like that happen, because I think that's exactly what's needed.
Awesome. And then if we're thinking of suggestions of speakers, I know Erin Jones recently published her book called Bridges to Heal Us. And when we were talking about that being one of our focuses, might want to just throw her name in the pot and look at that as a as one of the many sermonettes or keynote speaker.
Great, thank you for that. Yeah, we've got John Gaines. Well, he spoke last year, but John Gaines just finished a book. Jamad Canley finished a book. Yeah.
Quabi will be
many sermonettes from students, or many sermonettes from students, from seniors. I mean, there could be host, and that's why, like, kind of, and some of those could be recorded, right? So that they don't go over the time limit. We could edit them down to make sure that they meet the time limit. But yeah. So there are lots. I mean, you guys have lots of great ideas and know lots of people. So I think you all could come up with something great.
You know, one thing that well, it's my world, so it's always top of mind for me. But you know, we've been doing so much, not just diversity training this year, but particularly unconscious bias training, and I think. Because because my world is the business world, and so I work Seattle. I'm actually working for an Irvine-based devices company, and I feel like it's a conversation that most, I might be generalizing here, but a lot of people in Tacoma don't get to participate in the level of conversation that we're having at the professional level. So it'd be super cool to, kind of share some of the stuff that we talk about in business with the people of Tacoma, I think.
I love that.
The other question.
I mean, what if we had what if we had roundtables and there were, like, there was a business roundtable and people could come and hear, or maybe it's more like a fishbowl conversations where people are having a real honest dialogue in the center and people are listening and learning from the dialogue.
I really like that idea a lot. That's cool. That's so, I mean, they're walking away with a lesson, right? Not just celebrating, but walking away with like something they can take away from this. The other thing I was wondering too was, this just popped in my head and I started to research, but I can't find anything yet. But is there, just with COVID and the fact that we're still not completely back to pre-COVID ways of interacting with each other, especially physically? I mean, is there a symbol? Like I was, is there a symbol, something that represents Martin Luther King? And I was just thinking like if there's just something like really small that we could like hand out, not just a, sorry, I'm just kind of just rambling here off the top of my head.
Yeah, no. I see what you're saying. I would, let's look into it. Absolutely. Let's see if we can find something.
That would be awesome.
Well, I think those are all amazing ideas and just really exciting. I can't wait to develop this. Mayor, thank you so much for your time. I know you probably need to get running, but we really appreciate you bringing this to us and all of your ideas and presenting this. And I think we're all really excited and looking forward to making this magical moment happen for everyone. It sounds like it's going to be a lesson and a gift, and I'm
I want
looking
people to walk away feeling inspired. I don't want people to walk away heavy, like, oh my God,
right.
this is never going to change. I want people to walk away inspired, either that things are going to change or that they have an opportunity to be part of the change, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Much.
Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, I'm excited about that.
Do you want to have any further discussion? I know Jennifer and I have some, some thoughts, and we have to change the location from past years just for this coming year because of a conflict with a paying a paying customer using the 5th floor. But there's other aspects to this, like, putting together those videos and contracting with external people. And, one of the people that worked on last year has already reached out to me to find out if, we're interested in bringing her back in some capacity. And then the other part of it is that Chris McNabb is always so excited about is the
Community outreach fair.
Community outreach fair. Thank you, Jennifer. The community outreach fair is really important part of this event. And I don't know if any of you have attended when the community outreach fair has been a part of it, but it's very well attended now, or at least the last time we did it in 2020, in January 2020. Believe it or not, we actually had an event that year. And it's just such a popular event that, it's such a popular event that we really need to think about how we want to do that thoughtfully and inclusively. We have a really good baseline for that. So we have a good list of people, but we can always add to it. And there's new community groups out there that I don't even know about that have formed in this last year and a half. And I'd like to get, we'll talk with you guys maybe at the next meeting. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'll add to that just because I know, again, there's some new members of the committee, and I don't know who's seen the prior in-person events before, but like Calla said, the community outreach fair, we basically invite any organization who's not soliciting, who's providing a service in the community that wants a space to come. Very well attended. In fact, some years we have a hard time getting people out of the community outreach fair area and into the program, which is fine. It's always very boisterous and really, really fun. And even I say vendors, but not vendors, the people that have booths have always been very happy with the outcome and how many people showed up. And it is generally intended to precede the event. So people go and then they come into the event. Often, most of the people with booths stay after, and so people join after. And I do love the idea of figuring out like pre or post event conversations. I almost feel like with the outreach fair, post event might make a little more sense because of that. But I mean, I think there's just a natural flow there. We would, if we were the hosts of those, we would need to, work with the convention center, but and the paying customers they have, but there's potentially spaces for that too. But it really does provide a really nice flow that people definitely enjoy. It's an exciting part of the event in person. So I'm excited to have that back this year.
I like the community fair as well. At least three after construction has had a table, and we just like to put the information out there, what's available for opportunities, right, to the community workforce wise. So it's just a great opportunity to connect with adults and the kids too. It's fun to show the possibility for a construction trade, right? So
Yep.
It's just a great opportunity. There was something else I was going to see. Sorry, it went out of my brain. Sorry about that.
I guess because I'm a newbie, I have all kinds of questions, but I'll try to
That's
limit
fine.
them.
No,
I just want
that's
to like
fine.
catch up and understand, but I'm really excited about the community fair. I'm like thinking of orgs that I've been able to learn about and network with over the years, and either have probably participated or maybe this might be new for them, but I think that that would be awesome. I kind of want to understand how hands-on is this committee when it is in developing the events? Are we kind of doing the high level visionary thinking of it, and then there's another group that comes in and brings it to life? Or are we them? Part of me really hopes that we are. If not, can I volunteer at the other place too? But so I just want to see what that looks like. And then also a budget. Kayla, I heard you mention, is there room in the budget, or is there an additional ask for a keynote speaker? What budget are we working with? And where, and I guess just kind of, I'll stop at those two and then go from there.
So, yeah, let me address those, and then Hillary has a question or two. So the committee has been both at a high level of planning and working through that and back and forth. That's Jennifer and I go back and forth with the mayor. But I'm hoping that she gets more in front of you as opposed to us being a conduit, so that you can hear what she is asking for and how adamant she is about certain things that you might not think are important. And that's really important for her to get in front of. This is like, important stuff for her. And then also the day of, there's lots of things to do. There's volunteer coordination. There's making sure that the community outreach fair participants are in the right places at the right tables, and, all of those things. And then there's some opportunities for them to participate with greeting, like Adela. I know in 2020, she was really involved in greeting the special invitees. So there's elected officials, and there's the NAACP and the, Colored Women's Club and that sort of thing. And so we just want to make sure that they feel special. And so that's a role that's really important for the committee members to play and to be greeters. So that's your two questions. I don't know if Jennifer has more to add to that, and then Hillary has a question. I'm running the meeting. Sorry, Jessica.
Yeah, I would say on the program side, I honestly think kind of higher level is best, but somebody taking the lead, or a few of you who really want to, be involved and run everything by the rest of the committee, I think it would be a nice balance. Certainly what the program is going to look like, and if we hone in on some of that, like, Calla may kick me under the table that we're not sitting around, but we have really gone the gamut. I mean, we've been working on this together for a number of years, and there's been years where it's been very skit kind of oriented, and I didn't mind some of that, but I don't know. I think that what the mayor was talking about is a little more straightforward than that. Potentially, we've always had entertainment. We've, the choir and maybe dancers or this or that. I mean, all kinds of things. But we've had keynotes. The mini speeches, I think, is a great idea. And once we you kind of hone in on some of those desires, brainstorming around the who and the what, I think is really great. Calla and I will work on the logistics pieces, and like I write most of the scripts, like for the MC and such, and really kind of pull that all together. But she's right, there's a lot of on-off stage, a lot of stage management pieces too, and we have some good folks that have participated in the past to help with that, but the committee is really the face of this event. And so I guess I'll just leave with that. I mean, I think we have time to kind of talk through the rest of all of those elements, but here to support, but I'd love the committee's kind of high level thoughts on how you guys want the program to look, and The mayor really is very vested in this event. She has been since before she was the mayor. And so it's so nice to have her up front, like Calla said. It's way better than having her come in later when most things have been decided and say, which she has to be for Jennifer, where's the choir? So we don't want that to happen again. So yeah, it's great. And I love that she's being so available to you guys as a committee. I think it's really gonna benefit this process moving forward.
To kind of answer Cecily's question is like, because we haven't really discussed this yet, is we have subcommittees on this committee. So a lot of the different events that we get into smaller groups and meet separately outside of the meeting. We've been only doing it Zoom, really. I think the only person I've met in real life is Stephanie, but and you obviously. But we'll have subcommittees, and then there's, heads of those subcommittees, and then, we would all talk and then present it to the committee and then discuss from there. But obviously everyone gets a voice, but there is more organization to how we plan each event. Calla, is that right?
Yeah, that's fair. Hillary, you had a question or more.
I think similar to Cecily, I'm excited about this. So a lot of questions are just spewing around like budget and timeline. So I guess that's kind of the same answer on subcommittee. And I guess I really just have more of a statement that I would like to be on that subcommittee if that's where we're at on that. Because I've planned conferences like this, actually, like specifically in terms of thinking of the DEI aspect, where students led those spaces, and just in terms of like the conversation space after, just in terms of the fair, I think that makes sense to have that conversation space after, because in addition to everything else that's been said, those conversations always go longer than the allotted time. So just leaving that space for them, I think, is important. But I'm excited about all this.
I'll add that if you've not attended one of these in the past, they're all online on TV Tacoma's website.
And on YouTube,
And
if you prefer that.
Yep. So you can check out, past years.
My only immediate thought about having the conversations after everything is done is I feel like sometimes conversations can leave people feeling a little raw. And this event is such an uplifting event, and that's the whole goal, is to heal. And so then to like have this healing moment, and then we all go sit down and I don't know. I mean, yes, expressing your happy emotions is great too, but I feel like people have a lot more to discuss. And so to leave people, I don't know. I feel like if there's something, maybe the choir moves outside after and starts singing and everyone walks out and hears that. I would just like to leave people on a high note instead of on a really deep note, because people could feel a certain way. And I feel like the event will really uplift. So it's something to think about.
Good point.
I like that idea.
All right, Calla,
Uh-oh, you're freezing up.
Me?
Did for a second.
Oh, I was wondering if you wanted to share your screen again. I just thought we were.
Yep, I just wanted to make sure that if you were ready to move on to the next thing. So I'm ready to do that.
I am ready if everyone else is.
Not that one. Yep. Share. Let me just make this a little bigger. Sorry.
What if I just, as we're doing that, I just wanted to share one more thing. I heard a great, there was someone who talked to my company once, and he's actually a neurologist, and the way that he talked about diversity is that diversity, anytime you have more than one person in a room, and inclusion is keeping all those people in mind, right? And he talked about the differences between brain, like where we respond to stressors in the environment and threats, and our rational brain. And he basically was saying that when we don't have inclusivity, people's I'm trying to remember this, it was a few years ago, when we don't have inclusivity, people's primitive brain is triggered and they can't do their best at work or in life because anything that causes us pain is what we think of first and foremost, right? And so it basically prevents us from doing our best. So I thought from that healing perspective, if we could find someone who kind of like, has, can speak to that sort of thing, I mean, it would really go along with the healing thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we actually have someone on staff who did a presentation, I guess you could call it, or she talked with us at a staff meeting. Tammy, you might remember this, but it was, her name is Chevy Chung, and she works in the arts group. And she talked about, harm and avoiding harm or rectifying harm already done and acknowledging that. So I don't know, Tammy, if you thought that might be helpful to have her come to one of these meetings and talk about it.
Yeah, I think that would be great. She had taken part in I think a national webinar, and she did it to us in 3 parts, and it was very effective. So I think she could probably do that in 15 minutes, maybe, or 30 minutes with some time for discussion. But yeah, and we could find that link. I've got a copy of it to what that program was if people wanted to like learn a little bit more about it before inviting her.
Yeah, and maybe if she had, because we have recordings of our staff meetings, so maybe there's a way we can edit that out and share it with people. So I don't know, we can talk about that offline, but thank you.
She's amazing. I would love for her to come and speak with us. I love her.
I actually know her as well. So she comes from, does it come from an art perspective then, right? Is what I'm hearing.
No, really more of a social perspective, more of a community perspective. Yeah, I mean, I know she's an actress and she's an artist and she's in the arts group, but I felt like it was more speaking to everybody, everyone, not, I mean, we have people that, that work in our organization that clean toilets, that carry out the trash, that, change light bulbs, that, there's a whole, range of different roles for Tacoma venues and events. And so she spoke from, her heart, first of all, which I think is really, I really appreciate about her, but she also was speaking to us as all different people, not art focused. So that's how I felt about it. But
yeah, that would be amazing. She's an amazing young lady.
Yep.
Yeah, and she's very good at presenting it, of course, because of her performing arts background. She did a really nice job for our staff.
Yeah, really did. We have a lot of different training modules that, I can, like, if you guys have any questions about it, but I'm gonna try and make those available. I've talked about that in the past, and I think I've shared some of them, but I will try and do that again and maybe put them in a Dropbox or something where you can go get them. What's next, Jessica?
All right. Thank you everyone for all of those thoughts. I'm excited. This sounds like such a fun event to get to help participate and plan in. So next we're going to be doing staff updates. With our competitive funding orientation update will be the first one.
So, and I should have taken the word orientation out because we're past that point. So we have a number of individuals, including some people who are in the meeting here, who are reviewing the copious amounts of applications that we received. I think there's 33 or 34, and some of them are incredibly long and difficult to work through. And I've gotten that feedback, and so I'm learning about how to say no to 5,000 words when 25 words will do the job in an application for funding. And so we are meeting for the first time tomorrow, and then we won't really have, I had hoped that we would have an announcement by the end of this week, but that's not going to be possible. And then we have, if we run out of time tomorrow, then we'll have a follow-up discussion with whomever can join us on Monday. I think it's Monday. And our goal is to rank them to well, first of all, to discuss them after the review, to rank them or rate them in any way that, you know, is consistent with the criteria and the eligibility requirements. And then finally, to decide on the funding amounts. And here's why. We got 33 or 34 applications. The total amount in the ask, of course, because they're going to ask for the most that they think they can get. And that was like 200 and I think it was $225,000 or something. And we really only have $75,000 through the end of this year and $25,000 through the middle of next year to contribute to these events. So I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but it's something that we need to get done and make announcements about before the end of next week. So got our work cut out for us. It's been arduous, so to say the least, right, Tammy? And Jessica, right?
It's a lot of
It's a lot of reading, and believe me, I know, because I've read all of them at least 3 or 4 times, and I'm still finding things that I go, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. So anyway, I think my learning from this funding is that I need to coach the applicants more at the beginning of the process and then after they've already submitted applications. So because that was the best part of this whole process. The ones who came to my orientation sessions and asked questions before they submitted applications, their applications were great. And you'll be able to tell which ones they were. There was one that promised that she was going to send something in yesterday because the application that she realized was wrong. I haven't seen anything from her today.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you about
I
that.
think it's too late, and she's just, you know, that's fine. She can apply next time. But I'm just gonna have to say no at some point, right?
Mhm.
So, so we will be funding, you know, a handful or a dozen or so events with that $100,000 over the next 12 months, and announcements to be forthcoming. Yeah.
Thank you. Perfect. Did anyone have any questions on that?
What is it? They're like, what is it? I think just in a nutshell, basically we are happy now that we can call for applications for special events, either, you know, ongoing ones, annual ones, or brand new events that have an equity component to them, an inclusion component that include people of color, and cultural events. And so we got a really good response, and this is the first year that we're doing it. So I'm like asking for grace from a lot of people, but it'll be a continuous improvement, and hopefully more of the City Events and Recognitions Committee can be involved in that process, the next round of funding, which will be for next year.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kala. And next, Jennifer, would you like to give us an update on the City of Destiny Awards?
I think it'll be pretty short. I mean, this event aired since the last time we met. I don't know how many of the committee watched it, but I think it went really, really well. I've gotten nothing but very positive feedback from all of the awardees. My worry both this year and last year, of course, was, you know, are they going to feel honored enough, even though it's virtual? And they overwhelmingly we're just thrilled with the video presentation, and the fact that of course lives on YouTube and TV Tacoma forever is really fantastic. And so really, really pleased, and the process was very smooth. I mentioned TV Tacoma earlier with regard to the MLK event, and they are nothing but pleasant and professional to work with. They are so great. And I think the video presentation turned out great. I don't know if anybody has any questions about it or comments. I'd love to hear if you watched it and have ideas or questions, things we could do differently. Hopefully, of course, next year we'll be back in person, and then we can talk about what that looks like. And again, for newer members, the City of Destiny Awards is are awards given for volunteer participation in the City of Tacoma. We normally, well, not normally, but we have between 8 and 13 recipients every year, depending on what comes in different categories. And it's just a really rewarding program for me. I'm sure, I think for the whole committee, and I think Calla would agree. It's just wonderful to see what people are doing in the city. And so I mean, if anybody has any questions or ideas or comments about how the program was, I'd love to hear those too.
Jennifer, what did you, kind of like how the mayor was saying, you know, it's nice to be able to record people because it does keep them at a limited time. Did you, like, was there anything virtually that you would want to keep for next year when it's in person, or do a hybrid? I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
You know, that's an interesting question, and I don't know that I'm the right one to ask, in that I'm a total control freak. And so
She is.
The one
That's
thing
what we like about her.
One thing I've really liked about virtual, not everything, I mean, as an event planner, you can imagine, really is the control of pre-recorded things. But, you know, the City of Destiny Awards, I don't know that I would keep much pre-recorded. They've always run very smoothly. There's typically been some entertainment elements. TV Tacoma always records like a pre-show piece. The things that have been consistent with virtual and the in-person events over the last few years, we kind of honed in. The TV Tacoma creates a photo montage of the organization. I script all the council members, and they read live in person, hopefully. Last year pre-recorded. They read those scripts while the photo montage is playing on the screen behind them. And the recipients are given, you know, a couple of minutes to make comments, and don't even have to. And so some of them are, do I have to say something? And we say, no, just say thank you. And some of them want to say more. I'd say we get into time issues maybe with a couple of the group awards, you know, where they want 20 people to come on stage. We've typically been able to manage that. I try to build pretty good relationships with these folks. And we've not had anything get out of control at the City of Destiny Awards that I can remember. Perhaps I forget those things.
Just that one time when the taiko drums were coming from Seattle and there was a rainstorm and they got stuck on the freeway, but not, other than that.
Yeah, gray hairs over performers, not.
Yeah, it's always the entertainment that's more challenging. I think the only part that we would do virtually is, let's say for instance that we knew in advance that one of the council members was going overseas for a trip or something, and we really want that person, or that person is really invested in presenting the award to an awardee because they're in their council district, or, you know, make up something, you know, or it's their, you know, they were their teacher, or I don't know, I can't imagine. I mean, we'll have new council members next year, so I think we will, yes. So it's possible that we could record them at TV Tacoma and then play them on the screen, but that's the only part that I really think we need to do. I mean, maybe entertainment, I don't know. I think the entertainment has just been great this past couple of years, having a video program. So
yeah, and it's actually interesting, Callie, you said that, because, you know, we've had in past some awardees that couldn't attend, and we've never really considered pre-recording them. And of course now that's just something we would all think about. And so certainly I think maybe in those cases, and it would be a nice thing to be able to do.
Yeah,
I think it's nice having mixed media too, and just people live and recorded, just because sometimes, I mean, you can do amazing things with a video, right? So we're all learning that this year.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, thank you for that. And so now TVE marketing, social media updates, and our new marketing coordinator, which we kind of met, but what are updates with that?
Well, the biggest update or news, of course, is Gerald joining our team. But for those members of this committee who joined us today, just a little bit of background. We launched social media channels for Tacoma venues and events probably about 3 or 4 months ago. right before the prior marketing coordinator left. So we've launched channels on Facebook and Instagram, and I was just checking our numbers, and we have got about over 600 followers now. So we've built some good engagement. A lot of ideas of things we want to do, and one of them is we would like to do some profiles on all of you, and I know we've talked about that before, but now I have a person who can actually execute that for us, so I'm very excited about that.
So Gerald, I have a question for you. Do you have the bandwidth and the wherewithal to hound these people to send you some information and a photo?
Lots of planning, but of course, I think
Okay, good.
you guys caught me at the right time because this is my first week. So.
Oh, gotcha. So you can say yes to everything right now.
Well, not everything, but.
Yes, so we're very excited that he's part of the team. So I did get to highlight a lot of the City of Destiny Award winners or recipients, and got to do some nice profiles on all of them on social, which was really fun for me to be educated about all these great things these community members are doing. So I hope we were able to share that with an audience that maybe didn't even know what City of Destiny Awards was in the past. So I think we have a good vision of what we want to do with social media, and now we've got the resources to try and execute that. So looking forward to doing more of that, and certainly would welcome all of your ideas. And Gerald and I will be reaching out. So please take our calls or emails. Thank you.
I have a question about maybe putting together just a brief introductory email, and you can send it to me and I can send it out with the minutes, but it says, here's the hashtag, and here's the Instagram account, and here's the link to the Facebook account, and go in there and like it and follow it if you're on Facebook or Instagram. And I think that would be a good introductory effort for all the members who haven't already done that, or the ones that are new that may not have also done that. If that wouldn't be too much trouble, then it's all in one place and get started.
No problem.
On it.
We can definitely do that. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you and welcome, Gerald. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know Tiami's very excited.
It's a great week, let me tell you.
So let's see, on to our subcommittees reports. So the member handbook review and revision, I feel like, Kala, that's kind of been on pause.
Yeah, it's been on pause for a couple of years. Although I will say that Stephanie and Chris have reviewed it, right? At least some of it. And so what I think it's time to do is maybe to invite a couple of new members, and Stephanie, and if Chris is still interested, to just sit down. So we can have 4 members now at a subcommittee meeting, where before it was like 2 and then 3, and now we can have 4 because that's less than a quorum. And I think that gives you a little more oomph, right? And so I'll do as part of the minutes, I'll add an invitation and an explanation of each of the subcommittees. And that one I should really drive, because I think that you need my direction, right, Stephanie? Yeah. So I'll do that.
I want to say Chris did the bulk of the review, but I was able to do some of it, but adding on new committee members as well would be great.
Fresh eyes.
Yes.
And here's the deal, you guys, you may have been used to working on committees or boards that had bylaws, and the difference between, and I might have covered this in the orientation with you, but the difference between a board or a commission is that they have policies that they're advising the council members on. And this committee doesn't have policy that they are advising on. It's really a working committee. And so what you have instead is you have roles and procedures, or rules and procedures. And that that fulfills an obligation that is similar to bylaws, but it's much looser. It is not Robert's Rules of Order, except to just keep us, in a public meeting sense, doing the right things. So having new eyes on it to say, what does that even mean, is really helpful. I remember when Luis was just momentarily a member of this committee, and he just had the best, most probing questions about why is this even in here, right? So I'm hoping that we can have that kind of spirited discussion about this and just get it updated and distributed for everyone to just like sort of say, okay, I know where I can go to look for that. And if you're going to ask me this question, we are not supposed to put anything that is for public consumption as in the public meeting sense on anything like Dropbox or Google Docs or anything. You can put working, but you can put working documents on it that you're sharing with your subcommittees, but as a final product, it still has to reside within the city of Tacoma and whatever we use to save stuff and share stuff. So just wanted to mention that.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you.
Yep.
And now on to fundraising, which we need to have a meeting. Stephanie last meeting that we had was great, and Stephanie has provided us with quite a few people that we can reach out to. Who else was on that committee with us?
Well, Rosie originally was, and she had to step. Well, I don't know, Rosie, if you're still interested in being a member of the subcommittee. Oh, maybe she's not there. It was Stephanie, Alicia, and Jessica.
Oh, it was Alicia. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I think that we need to sit down and regroup and see where we were at. I feel like a lot of things that were happening kind of took our focus from doing that. So, but we do have some good ideas. We just need to put them into movement. So again, I think when Calla sends out notes about what each of these subcommittees are, that will give us an opportunity for you guys to jump in, one of you new people to jump in and help us just kind of execute this, because I think that that's probably where we're at this point. I think we have some good ideas and good notes about what we can and cannot do. But really at this point, it's about reaching out and just trying to engage the community and see who wants to participate. I think also, which the next topic is exploring new event possibilities, figuring out exactly what we're trying to get after this year is going to help. How much money we want to raise, what we're trying to raise it for, and being able to have a complete package to give that to people will be beneficial. Stephanie, did you have any thoughts on that?
Ditto on everything you said.
Thank you, Stephanie. And I appreciate all that you've been doing on that committee. It's been extremely helpful. So exploring new events possibilities. I think that's an exciting one that people are looking forward to. I think that this last year, I don't on that, but it's been hard trying to think of these things because we've all been locked in and like, are we planning something that's virtual? Are we planning something that is, in person? When is it? Like, what does that look like? I think as event planners, we all, realize how difficult that can be when you don't really have an answer to what something looks like and what your expectations are and what your parameters are going to be. I feel like now it's a little bit easier to kind of dream big because we're hopefully near the end of all of this pandemic. But that's kind of where we're at with that. Did anyone have any thoughts on that?
I have kind of a dumb new person question.
No questions, dumb questions, sir.
So, and it's about fundraising. What are we fundraising for? Is it for the awards ceremony? Is it for the Martin Luther King event? Or is it, does it go to a general fund that we're able to spend money out of?
Callie, you can probably answer that best, but I believe it is a general fund for CERC's events.
Yeah, we can do it two different ways. One way during the mid-biennium adjustment, and forgive me for using governmental terms, but maybe some of you have to do that in your own work too. But we'll say, we would like to put an additional revenue stream in the account that I manage for CERC. And it would equal approximately $10,000 in 2021 and $10,000 in 2022. Well, good news is that the $10,000 for 2021 got included. So if you raise 10,000 this year, that money is available to use for CERC activities, for events that CERC puts on, or materials that you produce, or keynote speakers that you want to pay a stipend towards. We will ask for the same amount to be appropriated for 2022. We just haven't done that yet. Right now, all we have is, I think we have $13,000 for the full biennium, and I'd like to increase that by at least 7,000 or 10,000 for the full biennium. And that's part of my job and the finance team that we work with here at TVE. So does that make sense, Alex?
Yes, makes perfect sense. Thank
Okay.
you.
The other way that is a lot more flexy is to use a fiscal sponsor. And for those of you who may not know what that is, it's purely a board that is representing the bank account that you could put tax deductible donations, cash donations into, and then use for expenses. And that doesn't go through any kind of city process whatsoever. Problem with that is there just aren't that many, and you have to pay a pretty substantial fee for those. It can run anywhere from the board that I used to staff with the Neighborhood Business Districts program only charged 2%. And in research that we did over the years, it was pretty typical for a fiscal sponsor to charge like 10 to 15% for their services. So, it runs the gamut, and that's something to consider, but I'd have to do a little bit more research to see if that fiscal sponsor even exists anymore. Or if any of you have any ideas, I am open to exploring other things. I'm good at research, so just let me know.
Perfect. Thank you, Kala. And let's see, the awardee selection process for the MLK award nominations will be uploaded in September.
Yeah.
Kala, I don't think most of us were here for that last year. What does that look like?
Well, I think Adela and Stephanie actually weren't you two part of that selection process?
Oh, you know what? I was.
Yeah.
And Chris.
And Chris.
Yes.
So actually for City of Destiny Awards and MLK, I went back and looked at my calendars, and both of them will go live in September. The City of Destiny Awards, because there's so many more of them, will have a longer window, where the MLK Awards, we want all buttoned up and ready to go by the end of December. So I'll be working on that. And then yeah.
No, I was only a part of the City of Destiny Awards, and
Okay.
Adela and Chris did the.
Oh, that's right, because
MLK.
you were brand new.
That was
You're
right.
right. You're right. So with the MLK Awards, you guys, there's two. There's a Lifetime Achievement Award and then an Emerging Leadership Award. And then there's one recognition that the mayor makes, and she's already decided that that's going to be Tracy L. Davis this year. And that's completely up to her. And it's not called an award, it's called a mayor's recognition or special recognition, right, Jennifer? I don't want to get that wrong. So that will be a process that we use, the same kind of evaluation forms that we used last time. And I think that worked pretty well. If you guys who worked with that have any updates or comments or, revisions and continuous improvement that you want me to implement, just let me know. Because that would be, and we should have at least one subcommittee meeting after September when they go live. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Sorry,
Lisa?
I was slow on the button. You're correct. It's the Mayor's Special Recognition Award.
Oh, okay. And I'll send invitations for that one as well. First 4 people to say yes, win.
Okay, and communication subcommittee.
Yeah, so remember last time we were talking about how communications is more than the social media stuff that that TVE marketing is helping us with. So one of the things that we have coming up is when we do the awards, when we upload those award nomination forms, we'll want to go on CityLine, and somebody will need to make an appearance on CityLine and talk about that. And then we also want to do news releases. And so we always want to get at least either a co-chair or some other like subcommittee member that's on that award nomination or award selection subcommittee to make a statement to include in that news release. And so those are part of the communications that I'll be sending. I'll just be sending out it. We don't have to have a subcommittee meeting or anything, but when we do get to the point of, and Jennifer might be involved in this as well, but when we do get to the point of like, do we need to do something new for MLK as far as graphics are concerned and that kind of thing. So then we want to have like a Zoom meeting where we're talking about applying new graphics or colors, or or like the question came up about, the mayor brought up about having some kind of MLK identifier that's a takeaway, so those are all part of the communications package.
Perfect.
Questions for me?
I have a question for you, Cala, or a request. Can you, because I feel like our subcommittees have changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Can you send us all an email about who's on what subcommittee and their.
I will. I've made notes on all the ones that we need to send out an invitation. I need to send out an invitation to the full committee and say, respond to me individually and let me know what your interest is. And then I'll just, like I said, first 4 to say yes to a subcommittee. And I, like I said, I will send out the descriptions for each one of those subcommittees so that you have a clear, and you just ask me, call me, what does this really mean? Because I want to try and be as brief as possible and not spend too much of your time on it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
We're getting short on time too. I don't want to keep people past 5:30.
Yep, very close to time. And Cecily, that kind of will help answer a lot of your questions that you had earlier. And I think it'll make more sense about how we organize this committee as a whole. And it's great. I love this process. Do we have anybody for public comments?
Nope. No other attendees.
Excellent. All right. So now we have some time for open discussion. Did anyone have anything they wanted to bring up before we part, or any questions, comments, concerns?
Welcome to the new committee members. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you. I'm excited as well. And just listening and learning today has been really great. I know that some of us have been quiet, but it's great to absorb it all and hear everyone and meet you all.
I will. Very new at being a co-president. But I just want to say thank you all. I loved hearing more about you and getting to meet you over Zoom, and it excites me. I feel like all of your strengths are going to really be a benefit for us to really move this committee forward and make some really great things happen for the city of Tacoma. And I feel like we're all in the same, I don't know, we're coming from the same place in our hearts, and all have different professional backgrounds. I do love that there's so much education and community outreach. I think that that's fantastic. I love the energy, and I'm very excited. I think that you new people are going to bring in some fresh new air to our world to breathe. So thank you.
All right, so 5:29, you want to call adjourn? You don't need to ask for a vote or a motion for adjourning, by the way.
Oh, excellent. Sorry about that. I think I did that last time. All right, so I call the meeting to adjourn.
You did an awesome job, Jessica.
Yeah, you did. You're getting it.
Thank you, Adela. That means a
You're
lot.
getting it. I know you need that. You need to hear that. You're doing fine.
I feel like I'm stumbling over my words constantly.
Thank you, Gerald. Thank you, Tammy. I always appreciate you guys. And then Jennifer, of course, thank you. And we'll be talking. I'm going to do my very best to get these minutes out this week, knowing that we have the selection process tomorrow afternoon. So more on that later. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks all.
Awesome. Nice to see you all. Enjoy your
Bye.
evening.
Thank you.